Alright, so here's going to be the review for part 2. I'm going to start here with number 20, and I'm actually going to stop, I think, around 42 or 43, and I'll try to finish from there. So with number 20, we're using this formula. The A stands for the amount, final amount. P stands for principal, and I think I misspelled that, but I'll correct it in a minute. And the B stands for the interest, now either that you added or subtracted. And there's a formula there that you need to add also that says B is equal to 1 plus or minus R. And of course, T stands for time. So if you read the problem number 20, our initial amount is 12,000, and we're increasing that by 14%. So we're going to say 1 plus 0.14, which will give us 1.14. So 12,000 parentheses 1 plus, or 1.14, because I'm saying 1 plus, because I'm increasing. And the final amount will be 60,000. I'm going to increase that to the t power. Now, if this was a multiple choice, I would just go ahead and try to plug in the numbers into t, see which answer gives me closest. But I'm going to show you here how to do it if it wasn't multiple choice. So let's divide. We get this. At this point, all you need to think is this. Log of those two numbers right here and divide those two logs. So log 5, log 1.14, your answer t will be equal to those two logs divide. So you can do that in one step with the calculator, and that will give you 12.3 years. Number 21, same thing. You're going to take the 28,000, 5,000 is the final amount, 28,000 the initial. You're going to subtract 1 by 0.095, change that to a decimal, and then divide. Okay, the two logs that you see right there, the two numbers that you see right here, this one and this one, you're going to make those logs and you're going to divide those logs. So you're going to say log of 5 over 28 divided by log of 0.907. So the key there is logs. You've got to remember that. And then when you press enter, you'll end up with about 17.3 years. 22 is a straight, just type it in. If you plug it in, press enter, you end up with the answer. You just got to make sure you put the numbers in the right order. And remember, compound quarterly is 4, compound monthly is 12, compound daily would be 365. Inverses, think of f of x as y. You want to switch the x and the y and solve for y. So we switch the x and the y, then we're going to multiply by 6 to get rid of the divide. Then we're going to subtract 1. And then we're going to divide everything by 3. Now, I would be happy with 6x minus 1 over 3, but just in case, you may have the person that's writing the test may ask you to divide those completely. So you divide those completely, and you would end up with 2x minus 1 over 3, or 1/3. And again, if you have any questions on these, please let me know. Send me through Edmodo if you like, and I'll answer those questions. 24, move the negative down to the 12, and then all you got to do is multiply by negative 12 and you're done. That's it. There's your answer. That's what the inverse is. There's nothing else to that. It's a pretty easy question. 25, you need to switch them, then solve. So subtract 6, divide by negative 3, and then that would be your answer. Now, since we're graphing it, I'll go ahead and fully divide it out. And this is that's what I would end up with. Remember, each number or each thing on top is divided by the negative 3. Okay, I'm graphing the original, and then I'm graphing the inverse. Okay, so all I did there, and this is the reflection line graph, that line right there. All I did there was solve, which I should be able to do. Started at 6, went down 3 over 1, made my line. For the inverse, I started at 2, and then went down 1 over 3. So down 1 to the right 3, and then made my line. Okay, this is actually number 26. This is the answer. The formula you would need is, think of this. Log base b of the answer is equal to the exponent. So logs, you're equal to is to the exponent. And an exponential function, you got the b, you got the e, which is your exponent, and you got the a. So notice where those are placed and where they're placed on the exponential form. See, that should make it be able to back and forth between those, and should make it easier for if you put it on your formula sheet. Okay, So then there's the answer for 27. 4 to the third power equals 64. 28, we're going the other way. So now we're going to say log base 2 of 8 is equal to the exponent 3. And log base 5 of 125 is equal to the exponent. And that log base 5 of 125 is equal to the exponent 3. Okay, so number 30, 31, and 32, just type those in the calculator. I don't think those should be that hard. Number 33, log 7x of 2. Just think, this is 7, base 7, exponent. If you say 7 squared, you'll get your answer. 7 to the 7 squared is 49. 34. It looks like, from what I saw, I would have done the multiple choices, see which ones fit. But someone thought if this is the exponent and that's the base, I could do that as a reverse. So if I do take the exponent, put it into the radical symbol by pressing Control caret key, I should be able to put the exponent here, the answer here, and like remember this is the answer, 27, and press enter, and I should get the answer, like the base that I'm looking for, which that does work. So it looks like it works. So I would work with that. If I see it where I'm looking for the base on a log, Control caret key, the first box you'll put the exponent, which is what the log is equal to. Second box you'll put the answer, which is what the big number next to the log, and that will give you the small x that you need, the base. Okay, I'm going to, let's just put it right here on number 35. You can see the final answer here. This is what you can do. Think of this as your base. Remember, this is the answer. So I can use logs and say log base 2 of the answer. Press enter, you will get the negative 6. Then you can take that's the exponent. So you can take this exponent and this and set them equal to each other. And so I could say x minus 1 equals negative 6, and then just go from there. So kind of keep that in mind. That's something we can remember. Somebody did show that. Remember that. So that's something that's easier than anything else I might be able to show you. 36. 3x plus 1. Okay, notice that they're both log base 2, so I can just drop that and just say it's 3x plus 1 equals 9 minus x. Then this is a simple algebra problem that you should be able to do. Add the x's, subtract the 1, divide by 4, and you end up with 2. 37, you can think of that base, make that an exponent, or raise that 3 to that exponent of that base. In other words, like saying 5 to the third power. That way I get rid of the log, and I'm left with 2x plus 3 equals 125. Subtract, divide, you're good. And then 38, you need to keep track of this. ln and e are opposite. So if I see ln e 2x equals 10, I can say 10, like those two cancel each other out. So you got to remember, if you see ln and e, these are opposite, so they cancel each other out, leaving you just a 2x equals the number, which in this case 2x equals 10, and so x is equal to 5. Okay, 39. Since it says varies directly, there's a special formula I would use, and I'm going to go show you this way because even though there might be a slightly simpler way, I don't want to get confused, so you can kind of keep them in line with varies inversely. Y equals kx. I automatically write that when you say varies directly. Okay, it tells you the first thing it mentions is your y, so that's the sales tax, and it tells me the sales tax was $3.90. Second thing it mentions is going to be your x. That's the price of the item, which in this case was $60. So if I divide $3.90 by 60, I get k is equal to 0.065. Then I'm going to put that in place, back, same equation. This time I'm going to say, okay, what am I looking for? They gave me, what's the tax on a $280 purchase? So again, price is x, so I put 280 times the 0.65, and I get an answer of $18.20. Very simple question. And again, if I'm going a little fast, hit rewind, hit pause, listen to it again. Number 40, varies inversely. Every time you see varies inversely, it's y equals k divided by x. or k is equal to y times x. So I put in there, and again, the first thing they mention is frequency. Frequency here was 1200. That's your y. Second thing they mention is wavelength after varies inversely. So I'm looking at that based off the sentence. And that was 250. So k over 250, multiply, you get k is equal to 30,000? Yeah, 30,000. Nope, 300,000, sorry. Okay, divide that by 400. So I'm going to put that back into the equation, and I end up with 750. Pretty much, once you found this one, the next number they mention is always going to divide, so you'd be okay with that. Okay, 41. I would multiply straight across. So I'm writing the problem out here, multiply straight across. Just say, what's 6 times 6 times 4? That would be 144. And then 2 times 9 times 10 is 180. Okay, that's the first part. X squared times x going straight across on top gives me x to the 4th power. Y times y cubed is y to the 4th. X on the bottom, and then y cubed because y squared and y gives me y cubed. Okay, this part right here you could type into the calculator and get 4/5. The next part, subtract your exponents. 4 minus 1 is x cubed. Y minus 4 or 4 minus 3 is 1. If you get a negative, remember those numbers go to the bottom. 42. X squared minus 9 is equal to 2x squared plus 5x minus 3. You want to make sure, and I forgot the x squared, but I'll add it in a minute. Remember this, if you see x squared minus a number, and you can take the square root of that number, the answer is always factored is always x plus x minus that square root. Okay, so that's a formula you might want to write into your formula chart. Okay, then I want to factor the 2x plus 5, 2x squared plus 5x. Okay, so write 2x in both equations. Because there's a number in front here, I'm going to write 2x in both. Then I'm going to say 2 times 3. On my plus minus is plus minus. That's 6. Okay, numbers that multiply to give me 6, but add up or subtract to give me a 5 are 6 and 1, 6 minus 1. And you can see here, there's an extra 2. That's one I can divide out. So divide that, you end up with x plus 3, 2x minus 1, and then they cancel out. X minus 3, 2x minus 1. Now, if you need help on that, remember this. Plus, 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 plus. Minus, plus, minus, minus. This is your little formula chart to help you remember the signs. Plus, minus is plus, minus. And minus, minus is also a plus and a minus. Here, you add to get those numbers. Here, you subtract to get those numbers. And what I mean by that is this. Notice I had plus, minus, so I put plus, minus in the parentheses. Then I said, okay, look at my numbers that multiply to give me 6. 1 and 6, 3 and 2, or 2 and 3. Which of those subtract to give me a 5? Well, 6 minus 1 gives me a positive 5, and that helps me decide my order, and then I go from there. Okay, so let's look at the next one, and that's going to be my last one, and then I'll continue for part 3 from there. X squared. Okay, all that gets there in there. Okay, so I got this right here. I'm going to start off with the first one. Minus minus means I'm going to put x and then minus minus, or I'm sorry, plus minus. Okay, numbers that multiply to give you 3 are only 1 and 3. Subtract to give you a 2, and you want 1 minus 3. 1 minus 3 gives me a negative 2. The next one is a square one, x squared minus. That means I put x plus, x minus, and take the square root of 1, which is 1. Next one is a minus plus, so that means minus minus. Numbers that multiply to give you 1 are only 1, so 1 and 1. And then finally, x squared minus, again, plus minus. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Okay, From there, you see what you can cancel out, top and bottom. Whatever's left over is your answer. Okay. If you have any questions over any of those and you need more help on those, let me know. I'll be more than happy to answer those. But that is it for part 2. I will go over part 3, hopefully before I see y'all on Monday. Thank you so much.